here's the question we all need to think about. What is it about your life, and what is it about my life that is distinctly Christian? Now, I'm not talking about being in church on Sunday morning. That is distinctly Christian. That if we were not a believer, we would not have or demonstrate as a person. If you can't think of anything, there's a problem. Each and every one of us ought to have some defining element to us that makes us, in the eyes of those around us, distinctly Christian. Just like the Christians of Julian's era were distinctly unique in their culture, there is a hunger and a starvation for that same essence to exist in our culture. Now, close with a more lighthearted illustration. Leighton Ford, who worked with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association for, probably 40 years, was talking about a crusade that he was doing. And of course, we're all familiar, with Billy Graham and his crusades, but he had a whole team of evangelists and whatnot that would lead other crusades. And Leighton Ford said he was up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and he was leading a crusade up there many, many years ago. And Billy Graham was going to be the speaker on the last night of the crusade. So Leighton Ford is up, and he's been doing the crusade for almost a week. And Billy Graham comes the day before he is supposed to be the speaker and close out the crusade. And so Billy Graham put on big sunglasses and a baseball cap and went and sat out in the audience on the last night that Leighton Ford was preaching. And so, Graham tells Ford this, afterward, but said, Ford, gave the sermon, and as was the custom, of course, at all Billy Graham Evangelistic Associations, that we're going to conclude with this morning, was the just as I am, right? So that is being played, and, folks are beginning to go forward. And Billy Graham is sitting there, and he's noticed that this kind of older gentleman that's been in front of him has been just keyed in on everything that Leighton has been preaching that night. Just locked in on Leighton Ford's message. So Billy Graham taps the man on the shoulder, and the man turns and he says, "Would you like to go forward? If you would, I'll be happy to go with you." The man, looking at Graham, not recognizing who he is, said, "Oh, I'm not going forward tonight. I'll do that tomorrow night when the big gun is in town." Well, I just want to say, a lot of us think it takes the big guns to do the work of apology. According to 1 Peter 3, each and every one of you has an apology, or should have. Because God is going to give you a pivotal plan, a divine appointment. And somebody's going to want to know about the providential who that is Lord of your life, and the personal why that is. That is why we live beyond bumper stickers. Let's pray again. Gracious God, you bless us, you grace us, and because of who you are, and because of you being Kurios, Christos to us, we have an apology. And Lord, in a world that is spiritually starving we take 1 Peter 3:15 to heart. May we be prepared at any moment to give the reason for the hope that is within us to anyone who asks, however they may ask that. And so, Lord, forgive us if we get stuck in the cliches, but help us to know and to grow and to mature into being the apologists that 1 Peter 3:15 calls us to be, because there's going to come a pivotal when, a divine appointment, when someone who is going to want to know the only one who is Christos and Kurios. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We're going to